So sometimes we're like, well, we ask that question of who am I? Who am I and how do I handle all that's going on around us? Whether it be family or work or just humanity in general. Here we are in this world, and we're bombarded by different things. And we have to find our center again to be calm and to be able to function. And the breath does that for us. The moment we notice the breathing in, we notice who is the one noticing. Who is that person that can notice the breath? And we feel that breath coming into our nose, into our lungs, into our chest, into our diaphragm, and into down to our bellies. We notice that. And we notice how it affects our body. That we can relax as we begin to do it. And we notice as well that if we stop breathing for a moment, we're still here. We're still a being alive. So the breath is supportive of our body. But we're more than the one who breathes, the body that's breathing in and out. We're present to that body. We're present to that breath. But there's a part of us that doesn't require that breath to exist. To exist on this plane, yes. To exist in this body, yes. And so we begin to notice that we are aware, that we're breathing, that we have a body, and that there is a being that is aware of all those things. And who is that? And how does that being function? And that is our centered self. Centered in the body, aware of the breath, aware of thought, aware of what disturbs us, that throws us out of center. Aware that things are happening around us that affect the mind or the body or the emotions. And we just keep breathing and relaxing. Because as we center in our body, we learn how to center and exist in this world. As we learn to exist in our bodies, we learn to exist in this world. Becoming comfortable in the body that we're in. Letting our stomachs relax. Letting our shoulders relax. Letting our minds relax. Because we're not in absolute control. We're in a space where we surrender to being in a body. We surrender to the need for breath to keep the body alive. And we surrender to the universe that's supporting all that's happening at the same time. And just like functioning in chaos, we can bring comfort to our bodies. It's a beautiful thing when we are cold to put on a sweater or to turn up the heat, to wrap a blanket around us, because we're bringing comfort to our body. And as we do that, we recognize that that which we thought of as chaos isn't as chaotic. And just like we exist in the midst of people and situations, we exist in our body. And this is how we begin to learn how to function as a spirit being. Because as a conscious being, we're in touch with this vast universe. And at night when we dream, we move around in that vast universe. And we return to our bodies. And it teaches us how to be consciousness that is centered. And how important it is to be consciousness that is centered. Welcome to Mo, who has joined us. Being in a body and breathing is teaching us how to be a formless being that can move anywhere, be anywhere, feel anything. And when you can move between feelings and emotions, then you can move between feeling an emotion and feeling your sensation in your body. And not getting too disturbed about anything that occurs that's going on. You're teaching yourself how to be a formless being on this planet. How to center, how to function, how to be one with all that is, and how to be an individual at the same time. So we begin to notice different aspects around us. And welcome to Susie. Thank you for joining. So to train ourselves to deal with chaos here on this planet, or what we've called chaos, is really training us how to function in our formless selves as a being of absolute consciousness, so aware of everything. How to be formless and how to be in form. And it's all by paying attention to the breath. Because when I notice my breath, I'm aware that I'm a being capable of noticing breath. And when I notice my thoughts about the day, I'm aware that I have thoughts about the day. And who is it that breathes and has thoughts? Who is that formless being that's existing in this body and embracing all the sensations and learning how to center in the midst of sensation? I can notice the temperature, and that's one kind of sensation. So let's notice the temperature around our bodies. Let's notice how our clothes feel on our bodies. Let's notice how the energy that we feel inside of our bodies is different when we begin to simply notice. Feeling our hands from the inside. And then we allow ourselves to incorporate more than just body sensation, but to begin to notice our thoughts. And whether that thought is about the past or the future. And one can only envision that. One can remember the past, but you can't exist in it. And we notice how it stresses the body to try to exist in the past. The body is always present. It's always in this present moment. And as we try to exist in any other moment by remembering something from the past, it creates a sensation in the body because the body's trying and believing that it's supposed to go there, and it can't. So it creates a stress which we interpret as worry or concern. And the same thing is true of the future. If we imagine being in the future, how something's going to work out, we begin to notice a sensation in our body, again, like stress or an attempt, because the body is always physically present in this moment and in no other moment. So we began to introduce these feelings of chaos in a way by spending time in the past or trying to spend time in the future. And there's only this moment. And welcome to Claudia. So here we are, returning to the present moment. And instead of believing that we're in the past or believing that we're trying to be in the future, we can look at these same thoughts and ways of being as an awareness, noticing that it's a memory. It isn't happening right now. It's a memory. And accepting that as a memory, not much can be done about it. We can't change it, but we can re-experience it by believing or reenacting it. So allowing ourselves to just notice that, oh, this is a memory. I'm remembering something from the past. Immediately brings more ease to the body. Because if you don't let the body know that you're aware that this is the past, it thinks that it's happening again. So we're aware of our thoughts and aware of our breath and aware of our bodies. And alignment is remembering that you are always present. So you align your body and you bring yourself into alignment by being in the center, by being aware that you are breathing, that you're experiencing a memory or you're creating a future scenario. And just by doing those things and being aware of your thoughts, you are creating alignment and centeredness. because you're telling yourself what moment you're in and where you are. And you're teaching yourself as a formless being to be centered. So as you breathe in, you can feel the comfort and the expansion in your belly because you're centering into your body. And as you notice the various thoughts and emotions that pop up, just by noticing them, you center yourself again in your body. There's a thought, there's a memory, there's an emotion, but you're in the center. And anytime we forget, we just breathe in and notice the breath, because it immediately centers us. So here we are, centered. And then we can allow ourselves to become aware of even more what's happening around me. People speaking, talking, walking, interacting. And you can begin to see if they're in alignment. Are they talking about the past as if it's current? Are they listening to themselves? Are they listening to others? And if they're not, there's no judgment there. It's just holding the state of your own alignment. Breathing in, aware that you are the being in the body, existing in the midst of thoughts and emotions and feelings, existing in the midst of others. And your alignment, your centeredness, begins to center them, because they begin to relax and be in the center of their own body. And that is how we begin to create the awareness of oneness. Oneness was always there. In fact, there's only one. It's just, when are we aware of it, and when are we existing in thoughts of the past or the future? But by aligning inside of ourselves and centering there, we find that calm ease. We can feel it in our bodies as we're aligning. It doesn't have to be confusing. It doesn't have to be a hard thing. And it's immediately available by following the breath into your body. Feeling that relaxation. And then from the comfort of that space, acknowledging anything that comes to your mind. Acknowledging the other being in front of you. And I play with that, because if you centering begins to center the other, is there really another? Or are you just aligning with yourself over there? And so these concepts we can become more comfortable with. Learning to be completely centered in you in the midst of all the chaos going on begins to build your ability to function with ease in oneness. Because in oneness, the identity of the individual self begins to erode away. And without that identity, are you centered enough to carry yourself? Centered enough to be comfortable with oneness? And yes, you are. Because the beauty of oneness is the comfort of one single unified breath. And as we breathe in and focus in our bodies, we notice that those around us begin to breathe the same way and feel comfort in their bodies. And we become comfortable with each other, beginning to recognize that we're sharing the same breath. And that begins to align us together. And as we begin to breathe together as one, we begin to breathe with the rhythm of the earth as one. And we learn from the earth how to exist in the midst of everything. The earth holds all the nations, all the oceans, all the people, all the reactions, all the interactions, all within her atmosphere. And she's comfortable, and she's enjoying it, and it's not hard for her as she focuses on her own rhythmic breathing, which causes the waves in the ocean and the breeze through the trees, and it touches your cheek, and you breathe it in, and that is oneness. We are not separate from the breath of the earth. She is tuning us at all points in time to breathe together as one and to recognize that it is not chaos that is around us, but just energy and movement. She's comfortable with nature playing through her, for her. She's comfortable with you as you wake up in the morning and take a conscious breath. She's comfortable with whatever you choose to do that day, because you're tied into her rhythms, into her ways of being. And she's sending love to you at all times. And just like the trees breathing in and out with us, they exhale oxygen and inhale carbon from us. The same thing is true for the earth. She's breathing in and breathing out. She's breathing in your being, and you're breathing out that shared process with her. So the breath aligns us with the concept of being on this earth, and it aligns us with the comfort she has, that all these actions are taking a place inside of the atmosphere that she's providing. And as the earth spins round the sun is comfortable with all the planets that are orbiting it. It's comfortable with every action that's taking place on every planet, every life form. And it's all tuned together, held by a unifying force, keeping everything in balance. So that which we see as chaos is just activity to be aware of, a chance to find your center. Chaos drives us to center, but the point is always centering and aligning. And it starts with the breath, the inhale, and the exhale. And then as we have expanded our consciousness to take in our unique individual space as a part of the being which the sun shines on, we come back as well to just our own breath, breathing into this one single body. We've breathed as one, as a piece of the universe, and we return to breathing in just to this body, just to this space. And having breathed in as the sun, we look at the activities around us and we're comfortable with what's happening. It's okay if it's different than we thought or desired, because we can be comfortable existing in the presence of each other. And as we're aware that we align ourselves, we begin to align the others around us into a comfortable space. Allowing for individual choices. Allowing for our own unique choices. Having seen ourselves from the perspective of the earth and the sun, and the comfort that they have with every action of every planet, we have space for ourselves to react differently, to not judge everything that we're doing, but to be comfortable that at each point in time, each decision we make, each awareness that we have, is a chance for us to accept ourselves. And the more that we accept ourselves, that we're comfortable with every action that we're taking, the more choice we have about which action we'd like to take. And from alignment, we're not driven to act as if we're in the past or the future. Because in the present moment, the deep present moment, aware of thought, aware of breath, and centered, there are so many more options available. And holding this centered space, comfortable with every action that's happening around us. And comfort does not mean agreement. You don't have to fight that you don't agree with everything that's happening, but that you can sit in alignment in yourself with comfort. That you can be at ease in your body even as you are aware of something you don't particularly care for or like. Just because we don't like something doesn't mean we have to be uncomfortable. And then, in this space of comfort, we're aware of when it's time for us to step away or move closer. And it's not done from desperation or rejection or judgment. It's done from what brings more comfort, more alignment, more ease. And so we just take a few moments just to breathe in and sit in our bodies and feel that comfort. Aware of thoughts, but not caught up in thought. Aware of centering breath. Aware of how the earth appreciates your being and your presence on this planet. Aware that your presence on this planet is a centering force for the earth. For when you are aligned and you are comfortable, the earth energy flows through you. It's like a flower that begins its growth from the roots. The energy comes up through you. It blossoms through you. And it expresses through you. And in alignment, you're expressing universal energy through your being. And you can feel the comfort, the safety, the held presence that you exist in. And you are held at all points in time. And allow that to move through your body. And allow it to flood your mind. Let it hold your thoughts. Let that energy touch each cell of your brain. Let it touch each thought. Let any thought around judgment be caressed by the energy of acceptance from this planet. Because it accepts you 100% as you are. You are perfectly acceptable. And this earth is completely comfortable with who you are and what you're bringing to the planet. And by aligning and blossoming and allowing any judgment of self to be caressed by acceptance, you are creating more and more acceptance on this planet. You are so loved. And you are love. The energy of love is the breath that you are breathing. And it is the breath that you're exhaling. And it is you. Love you. Expand consciousness on this planet by loving yourself as you are, completely comfortable with yourself, with your thoughts. And accepting your thoughts doesn't even mean you agree with your thoughts. And see, that's how amazing you are. You can accept a thought about you that you don't agree with, that you don't have to agree with. It's a thought. And a thought is just a belief about something, but it's not about you, because a thought has been trained to be a particular way. So all you're doing is loving a memory, a belief about something. It's not you. It's not who you are. So we can accept these thoughts, and we can accept these ways of being without having to buy into their patterns. It's just like breathing in and out, noticing a feeling, noticing a thought, just loving it, and loving yourself, and bringing love to this planet. You are the expression of love on this planet. You, exactly as you are the expression of love. Because if you can accept and love yourself without judgment, that is love. And if you struggle with it, that is still love, because you're attempting it. And as you attempt it, it is a loving act, a gracious and loving act. And from this centered, loving act of your presence, and I sit here recognizing that your very presence, no matter what you've experienced, no matter what you think you've done, the fact that you're here to love you is a gift. And it is the most important function that we all share. Because as you love you as you are and become comfortable with yourself, we expand consciousness on this planet. And as you end the chaos and the judgment inside of you, you end it on this planet. Not only are you loved, but you are love. And the fact that you came to love you is the guarantee that this universe is loving. Because you would love even if you weren't loved. You would love first because you're capable of that. And that's why you're here. To love first. To love yourself first. And as you love you, all is loved. And the reason that we can trust that we are loved is because you love. Love exists as you. As each of you. And I'm so grateful that you're here. And that you can love. So with that, again, we breathe in and recognize that the sun shines on everyone, loving, and that the earth holds us all in her atmosphere, loving, and down to the tiniest particle of this planet, loving. And you are not separate. You are made of the same essence, from the same elements. You are made of ocean. You are made of stars. You are made of earth. And you are made of love. And every thought you've ever had can be loved by you if you choose. And from this alignment, there is no chaos. There is only opportunities to love. You are love. And I'm just resting in the love that you are. I'm feeling each and every one of you. And let us each feel one another and touch one another through the shared unifying breath of love. I breathe you in. Oh. And I breathe me out. And I breathe you in. And I breathe me out. Oh, God, you're so wonderful. And I am safe. I am safe with you. And I am loved by you. I'm comfortable with you. And the planet is comfortable with you and every thought you have. And the sun is comfortable with you and every thought you have. And the sun and the earth lean into your ability to love and to root deeply and to express love. Let us breathe together and feel one another and love ourselves first. And love is simply accepting you as you are. Unconditional love makes no excuse, just love. And the vastness of the love that is available to you, coming through you, is so much stronger. You can either love or you can judge. Choose love. You can sit in love or judgment, but not both. And when our minds grab our attention, because that's what's happening when we get caught up in a thought, our minds are just grabbing our attention. And they're asking you to center again and love them. Your thoughts, which do not always accept you, when they grab your attention, they're asking you to please center and be that loving presence which allows them to be heard, to be loved, not to be believed. Not all thoughts are to be believed, but they are to be heard and loved and accepted. So when a thought grabs you of judgment that wants to say something to you that's judgmental, remember it's asking you to center and love. Center in the love that you are, that vast field of constant love that is so vast that the very presence of it only has room for love. And that judgment, when it begins to feel the love that you are, relaxes and lets go of its own beliefs and feels loved because you are that vast frequency of love. You are here to love your own thoughts so that consciousness expands and continues its unconditional march towards love. And at this point, all I'm doing is dropping in to more and more love. I invite you to breathe into your center, knowing that the vibration of the energy that you are is love. And by taking your attention away from thought and moving into your being, that is an act of love. It is an action of the love that you are. And I fall into that shared space with you. That's so vast that nothing exists but love there. And a thought that runs in is immediately accepted. Even if it tries to grab your attention, that's no problem. Let it play and love it. You are here to love first. And that's not a sacrifice. It is the function of your being, because you are love. Love first. Love every thought. Love every feeling. Love it all. And the earth feels the love that you are. And her breath comes in and out. And she breathes out and the waves move. And the trees move. And the leaves loosen their grip and fall to the ground. And the wind touches your cheek again. All in a cycle of love. And a single exhale and inhale. You are matched to that rhythm on this planet. And your soul is intertwined with that of the earth. And relax into the comfort of the space that the earth has for you. You are provided space because you exist. And that existence is so important that the earth moved in recognition of your joining. And she breathes with you and through you. And you and every being on this planet has the absolute right to be here, to exist here, as you are, and to be unconditionally loved and adored. Thank you. Thank you for being here on this planet at this time to anchor love as a frequency for experience for every other being on this planet. That's why you're here. To love and to be loved. Thank you for loving me, and I love you. I love you. I love you. And thank you for loving me.